Teri Hicks, and I'm the owner of It's All Good Catering Service. I want to thank you for joining me here in my home to have some wonderful home-style cooking, just some good old-fashioned home-style healthy cooking. So I want to thank you for joining me, participating, going to the blog, the web page, taking a look at it, and letting me know what you think after you try the recipes. Go ahead and blog something. Let me know what you changed, how you fixed it for your fancy. I look forward to hearing from you, and I encourage you to spend some time with me on the blog and checking out the web page and wherever else we can get together. But most importantly, come on into the kitchen. Hi, it's Teri, and we're going to work on some spinach quiche today. So what I've done is I've sauteed some spinach and broccoli, just kind of cooked it a little bit, makes it a little bit easier to go down in the system. We're going to put this together into a glass bowl. Spinach quiche is really delicious. You can play with it and have so much fun. Do so many different things with it. Notice we have some broccoli, we have the spinach. We're going to put all that in there, let it sit while we scramble up some eggs. And then, of course, we'll have cheese. We'll put some shredded cheese in there, eggs. But this is the kind of dish that you can have so much fun with. You can add in some smoked sausage. You can cut up the sausage, ground turkey, ground beef. You can do so many different things with it. Mushrooms. You can make it all vegetables. You can make it all, just have a grand old time. So we have some milk sitting down in our bowl. And what we're going to do now is we are going to scramble up some eggs. These take a lot of eggs, yes they do. So depending on how deep you want this to be, you're going to go ahead and add eggs for it. I personally would like it to be, I'll probably end up putting about 10 eggs in here. And as I put about 10 eggs, we're going to scramble them up, get them all ready and good to go in there. We're going to put the eggs in, and then once we get the eggs in, then we will put some cheese across the top, throw it in the oven for a good 30 minutes or so. I'm at 6 eggs. We're going to do 8 eggs, like I said. Put it in the oven for about 45 minutes or so at about 450. And it will cook up nice and delicious. And it looks so nice and fluffy when it first happens. And then it sits for a minute and it goes flat. But that's just what eggs do, as some of you know. So here we have the spices. And of course I'm going to use this, not the savory spices, but this is the little special blend of spices that I have. Once again, I say get your own special blend of spices so you can have fun and know what you're doing. And that you can also have your own little special flavor. I don't use much, if any, American spices. It's very rare when I do, just because they all taste the same. They all have a bunch of salt in them, so make up your own little mix. You can take out the salt, or you can add the salt in there. It's up to you. And of course, because we do these things at my church, I know all about the Daniel's fast and the good stuff that is good for you and not good for you in the spices as far as salt. So you want to start using maybe a table, figure out a difference between the idolized salt and the, some of the different kinds of salt. The coarse salt. You want to check and see what works best for you. I personally try to stay away from regular table salt. Sometimes I use the kosher salt, sometimes I use other forms. Figure out which one's best for you. There are other web pages out there where you can find out exactly what they will do for you and how they will work out for you. Once again, I just stay away from the salt. Give me a second, I'm going to go get some shredded cheese and we'll put that on top of there and get it in the oven. Be right back. So we're going to add the cheese on here. And it depends on how cheesy you want it, what you do, how much you put on there. I'm actually putting about 2 cups of cheese on there. Remember, we have 8 eggs, seasoning. You have some seasoning that you've already added to the spinach and the broccoli. Now we're going to put it all together. Now we've put it all together, and it's time to bake it. So in the oven it goes. That is going to take a good 45 minutes to bake, so you will want to give yourself some time for the baking. And in a minute, we'll go ahead and get started on some other things. Today we're going to do some string beans with some chicken in it. It's going to be a nice little flavorful, colorful thing. It's going to have got some diced tomatoes and of course some bell peppers and green onions, that kind of thing. What we're going to do, and here we have it in a saucepan. We're starting it off with the little bit of butter and the bell peppers and the rice and the string beans. We'll let them cook for about 15 minutes. Gives us enough time to put together some black bean patties. So, the black bean patties, you can actually do this. This is a really nice, great, simple recipe. And you can have so much fun with it, making it really quick, really fast, really easy. We're going to take some black beans, which have been cooked for a little while, because of course, I used the can this time, but I personally like to use fresh black beans, and you know the black beans, you got to cook them forever and a day before you get them to the correct consistency. We talked earlier about how I like to have my beans cooked up so that they're not hard and crunchy, or just even hard. I like them nice and soft and tender. We're going to get the skillet started with some olive oil, because about the time we get this all going, it'll be ready to go. Now for the bean burgers. These bean burgers, I had somebody tell me that it really isn't fair to call something that has no meat in it a burger, so we'll go with bean patties. These are actually made with black beans. What you see here in the bowl is some fixings to go with it to spice it up a little bit. We have the bell peppers. You can also use some jalapeno peppers if you want it really super hot. I do not. So I just went ahead, and yes, I know people who know me will be saying, Terry didn't want it super hot. No, Terry did not. But we're going to make up for that with some of the spices that we have. But here what we're going to do is here we're going to add some spices. And once again, we're adding the nice little mixture of spices that I have. The sauteed vegetables have also had some spices added into it for the same reason I told you before, is to actually keep add some good taste and flavor in every bite that you take. So you want to keep the spices in. Of course, we already have garlic in there, but I love garlic, so I'm going to add some more garlic. And we're going to get ready to mix it. So you can actually use a mixer, you can use a blender if you want to use a blender and want to truly puree, or you can go ahead and use a masher, a potato masher. So now that we've mixed the black bean burgers, we're going to add in some brown, this is breadcrumbs. You want to add in an egg to keep it, to help it firm up. This is some cornmeal, and just happens to be white cornmeal, but this is cornmeal and breadcrumbs, because you want to give it some consistency, something to help it hold together. I'm going to add in seasoning, because we want flavor, lots of flavor with these. Although the black beans do have their own flavor, because they were not cooked from scratch, they don't have as much flavor as they would have had I cooked them from scratch. Not everybody likes cooking from scratch, so I like to give you a variety and a way of doing it where you don't have to recreate it. And by using the can, just make sure you rinse it out with water real good, so that just rinse them, run them under some water in a strainer before you use them. Okay? So what I did with this can of black beans was I rinsed it out, rinsed it in water, ran the water over for a long time, then put it on the stove and cooked them for a couple of hours to make sure they were soft. Then I'm going to use the bell peppers and the green onions. They've been softened with some butter, just sauteed with some seasoning. I'm going to add the seasoning. Depending on how much you use, with 1 can of beans, you want to use maybe a quarter cup of a quarter cup of cornstarch and a quarter cup of breadcrumbs, 1 egg, mix it all together and add some seasoning to it. Now we're going to fry these in some olive oil, and we're just going to spoon them in with some olive oil. The olive oil is already hot over there in the skillet, so we're just going to drop them by spoon in there. So now we're just going to take it and drop it by a spoonful into the oil. And we're just going to let it cook for a little while. It's going to cook on both sides. We're going to flip it just like it's a regular burger. And as you see, you'll get it in 4 nice sized ones out of each can. So, here's our finished product. We have the black bean patties, and we have string beans with corn and the dressings that go with it. The bell peppers and green onions, the diced tomatoes, nice and well done. Great complimentary meal. You can eat it all together or eat one or the other. Hi, I just want to thank you for joining me, Teri Hicks, the owner of It's All Good Catering Service, for Teri's Creative Homestyle Food. It's a lot of fun to be able to get in the kitchen with you and just exchange recipes, exchange time and fun, and just to enjoy family and food. So I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the food. Don't forget to blog. Let me know what you think, what you changed. Remember, it's all good.